Hello and welcome to your second masterclass. I'm Jimena Holiday and today I'm going to review and test you on what you've been studying over the last 4 weeks. Let's start with a quick review of units 6 to 11 of the student's manual. We've seen prepositions like in front of, delante de, behind, detrás de, next to, al lado de, very good, together with object pronouns like me, you, him, her, etc. And for example, I'm sitting in front of him. That's it, I'm sitting in front of him. And she's standing next to me. How do you say, ¿están sentados detrás de ella? That's it, they're sitting behind her. They're sitting behind her. Careful, we don't say behind of her. It's always behind her, behind him, behind me. Then of course you studied the present continuous, which is formed with to be plus the ing form. For example, what am I doing? I'm speaking in English. That's right, I am, we contract I'm speaking in English. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not reading a newspaper. I'm giving a class and you're listening to me. Excellent. You're, one more time. You're listening to me. Very good. We don't say you're listening me. Excellent. What else have we seen? We've seen the possessive adjectives. This is my book, for example. That's your pen. Those are our children. And how would you say, Francia es famosa por su vino? Yes, France is famous for its wine. Its wine, that's the one we use there. France is famous for its wine. And what about the Saxon genitive? Can you translate el libro de María está al lado del de Pepe? I hope you're not too tempted to say the Maria's book. No. In English we say Maria's book is next to Pepe's. Maria's with that apostrophe S. Moving on to there plus to be, which is how we express haber in English. First let's review the singular. There is a book on the floor. Now with the contraction, there's a book on the floor. Very good. Now in the negative, there isn't a mobile on the floor. We say, yes, there is not, there isn't a mobile on the floor. Excellent. Then the question and short answer. Is there a pen on the table? Yes, there is. That's the affirmative. Yes, there is. Is there an egg on the table? Now in negative. No, there isn't. And the same in plural now. There are books on the table. That's right, there are books on the table. Remember that in the negative and plural, we use any. So there aren't any books on the floor. Are there any books on the table? So the interrogative, are there any books on the table? Yes, there are. Are there any cats in this room? No, there aren't. Are not contracted. Aren't. Excellent. Now, how many? You remember how many. For example, how many books are there on the table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many children do you have? How many people are there here? Don't forget that people is always plural in English. Yes, how many people? If you want to talk about uncountable things, however, we use, that's right, how much? How much money is there in your pocket? How much time do we have? I think we're running out of time. How much sugar do you take in your tea? Yes, with uncountable things we use how much. We reviewed a lot. We also saw ordinal numbers and dates. For example, what day is it today? Today's the 3rd, for example, of March. Don't forget, it's always the plus the ordinal number plus of plus the month. For example, the 1st of April, the 25th of October. Excellent. So don't forget the preposition on, and especially when we talk about when a certain day is. For example, when's Christmas? Let's think of the whole structure. It's on we need the, then the ordinal number 25th of December. So many things to remember. It's on for days of the week, and certain days it's on the 25th of December. When's New Year's Eve? On the 31st of December. That's right, excellent. When's my birthday? My birthday is on the 2nd of July. You've got it. We also have seen other very important basics in English, such as telling the time. So, it's 5 o'clock, or it's 5:15, or it's 5:30, or it's 5:45. Excellent. Remember, 5:15 and then 5:45. Now, we've also seen the imperative. This isn't too difficult in English. Remember, it's just the imperative. We use the basic form without any pronouns. So, go away. Come here. Get up. Open the window. Close the door. Write that down. Tell me about it, etc. Okay, so that's the way we use the imperative. Excellent, you know this. Now, possessive pronouns. We saw them too. This book is mine. Very good. Not the mine. It's this book is mine. This one, yeah, this one right here is mine. The other book, this one, it's yours. The other book is yours. Excellent. His is the purple one. That's right. His is the purple one. And hers, well, hers is this big white one. Okay, and ours is this one. Ours is the one in the middle. And theirs is that tiny little one there. That's right. Theirs is that small one. Be careful. As I said, don't say the mine, the yours, etc. We never use the article with mine, yours, his, hers, ours, or theirs. So, el mío está al lado del tuyo. Mine is next to yours. Excellent. We've also seen how to express age. How old is the President of Spain? He's 61 years old. Or he's 61. But never, 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 he's 61 years. No, one of the two. 61 years old or just simply 61. How good are you at those frequency adverbs? Always, almost always, usually, often, sometimes, never, etc. It's important to remember that they go after the verb to be. That's right, I am. I'm always hungry. She's never tired. We're usually happy. Yes, that's how it goes. So, however, with all the other verbs, the frequency adverbs go before the verb. So, if it's not the verb to be, I often go there. He sometimes calls me. We always do our homework. Excellent. And now, you've studied the use of several important verbs like to last, durar, and to try to, intentar. How long does the class last? It lasts, let me hear that lasts. It lasts 30 minutes. Excellent. Are you trying to impress me? Yes, I'm trying to plus make. I'm trying to make a good impression. Excellent. And finally, let's quickly review to like and to enjoy. What's so special about them? Well, the verb after to like can be an infinitive or a gerund. Yes, I like to read, or it's perfectly correct to say I like reading. However, after to enjoy, what has to happen? The verb has to be a gerund, always. I enjoy reading. I enjoy teaching you. I've really enjoyed giving this class. See you soon. Now I'm going to test you on some of the vocabulary from this book that you've been studying. Let's start with estar de buen humor. That's right, we don't say to be in a good humor, it's to be in a good mood. Excellent. What about sugerencia? Do you remember? Suggestion. Excellent. And mejorar? Okay, you can say to improve, but we also very commonly use to get better. And what about actualizar? That's right, you see it on computers and software. You update, to update. It can also be a noun. An update. Okay, so apuntar. You didn't just say to write, did you? No, we need to write down. When you're apuntando something, you're writing it down. Excellent. What about pedir prestado? A tricky one, I know, but it's to borrow. Okay? The pronunciation to borrow. Excellent. You're borrowing my book. Fine, you can have it. What about duda? That's right, we say doubt. Okay, that's the pronunciation. Doubt, no. Doubt. Excellent. And alcanzar? Well, that's to reach. Okay, so I can't reach. And grado? It's very hot in here. It must be 20 degrees. That's right, we don't say grades, it's degrees to measure temperature. Now a really, really tricky one. Improbable. I know, you want to say improbable, but that's not very commonly used in English. We much more are likely to use unlikely. That's right, unlikely. Likely is probable and unlikely, improbable. And what about morder? To bite. Yes, I'm always bitten by mosquitoes. Bite, bit, bitten. Excellent. And what about parientes? This is a very, very, very common false friend that people make mistakes with. Parientes isn't parents. No. It's not parents. That's padres. It's relatives. Excellent. My relatives, for example, cousins and extended family. Relatives. Now, do you remember coser? To sew. It's a funny pronunciation there, but it's to sew. And mientras tanto, in the meantime. Quite a long one. In the meantime. Do you remember prever? That's to forecast. They're forecasting rain for next week. Ajo? Easy, right? Garlic. Very good. What about echar la culpa? Do you remember? To blame. Echar la culpa a alguien. To blame someone. Don't blame me. It's not my fault. Grabación? Excellent. A recording. We are recording now. This is a recording. An alcalde? Mayor. Good, you got the right pronunciation. Mayor. And the last one, tinta? That's right, that's ink. Okay, so tinta, ink. Thank you all so much and keep studying. So now it's time to look at some translations from frases clave that you've been studying. Let's start with, los de ellos son los blancos. That's right, theirs are the white ones. Very good, theirs are the white ones. ¿Estás seguro de que son nuestros? Are you sure they're ours? Okay, let's practice that one more time. Are you sure, inverting, are you sure they're ours? Very good. Son botones, ¿no? They're buttons, aren't they? Yes, the tricky question tags. There, they are. They're buttons, aren't they? Excellent. ¿Dónde está la casa de tus padres? Where's your parents' house? Very good. Where's your parents' house? The Saxon genitive. Very, very good. ¿Dónde está el dinero del abogado? Where's the lawyer's money? Very good. Where's the lawyer's money? No soy socio de ese club. Pronunciation, I'm not a member of that club. Great. El oro y la plata son metales. The gold, no, gold. And silver are metals. Él está aquí por un motivo, ¿no? He's here for a reason. He isn't? No. Isn't he? One more time. He's here for a reason. Isn't he? Great. ¿Por qué no estás listo todavía? Why aren't you ready yet? That's right, the yet goes at the end there in the question. Why aren't you ready yet? Te toca a ti. It's your turn. It's your turn. Great. Hay bancos a lo largo de la orilla del río. Now, this is where we use there are. There are benches along the riverbank. That's a tricky one. There are benches along the river bank. No hay leones en Noruega. No? No hay? There, now it's negative, so it's there aren't. You didn't forget any, did you? There aren't any lions in Norway. There aren't any lions in Norway. Para el motor. The imperative, you remember? Great. Stop the engine. No trabajes tanto. Don't. That's right, we use don't here in front of the verb. Don't work so much. No, don't work tanto, so much. Consígalo lo antes posible. Get it. Great. Get it lo antes posible. As soon as, yes, as soon as possible. No les digas nada. Don't tell them anything. Great. Don't tell them anything. Que no se te caiga. Don't drop it. Great. You're perfect in the imperative. Don't drop it. One more. Tráemelos. Bring them to me. Me lo estoy pasando bien. That's right. Me lo estoy pasando bien. I'm having a good time. Are you? I'm having a good time. Y la last one. Está empezando a llover. It's starting to rain. Perfect. Now we're going to look at some verbs, yes, irregular and irregular verbs that you've been studying over the last 4 weeks. Let's start with some basic irregular verbs. To have, to do, and to go. Every day I have. Yesterday I had, and lately I've had. Excellent. What about do? Every day I do. Yesterday I did, and lately I've done. Careful with the pronunciation here, it's done. Now let's keep going with to go. Every day I go. Yesterday I went, and lately I've gone. Perfect. Notice the difference. I've done my homework, but I've gone to the supermarket. Now let me test you on some trickier irregular verbs. Eat and drink, for example. Every day I eat a sandwich and I drink some water. Yesterday I ate a sandwich and drank some water. And lately I've eaten a lot of sandwiches and I've drunk a lot of water. Moving on to feel, sentirse, and to fall, caerse, which are often confused by non-natives. Remember, in the simple past we say, I fell down the stairs yesterday, but I felt sick last weekend. And in the present perfect, of course, it's I've just fallen down the stairs. And again, felt. I've felt sick recently. How about to fight? How do you say, ellos lucharon por sus derechos? That's it. They fought for their rights. And no han luchado por sus derechos in the present perfect? Yes, they haven't fought for their rights. And finally, a more difficult one, to flee, which means exactly huir or escaparse. How do you say huyeron de la guerra? Yes, they fled from the war. In the present perfect, fled stays as fled. Many people have fled from the war. Now let's turn our attention to the regular verbs, or more importantly, their pronunciation. Out of the 25 verbs you've studied, a few end in T or D, so when we pronounce the past form, we add an addition syllable. I attended the meeting. The offer attracted lots of customers. He's avoided my questions. He boasted about his job. And what does to boast about mean? Very good. Presumir de. All the other verbs don't get this extra syllable. You just have to pronounce a strong D or T sound. Let's see. Translate, me atacaron. They attacked me. Very good. Not attacked me. They attacked me. How about, me encantan las patatas asadas. I love baked potatoes. Another very important verb to book, which means reservar, comprar. I haven't booked my flights yet. I booked a table for 3. And by the way, what do the verbs to blink and to blush mean? Excellent! To blink is this, parpadear. For example, he blinked in surprise. And to blush means to go red. I blushed because I was really embarrassed. So, remember the hard T sound in these verb forms in the past. Attacked, baked, booked, blinked, blushed, etc. Then, there are other regular verbs that end in a softer sound. Not a strong T, but a strong D sound. For example, to belong, pertenecer. This watch belonged to my grandmother. And how would you say, prefieres las patatas asadas o las patatas cocidas? Good job! Do you prefer baked potatoes or boiled potatoes? Well, if you ask me, I prefer boiled potatoes. And one last question. How do you say, ella está aburrida? That's it. She's bored. Bored in one syllable. Bored. Very good. Now we're going to look at some of the phrasal verbs that you've been studying over the last few weeks. Let's start with to hand in, entregar o presentar. ¿Cuándo tenemos que presentar el proyecto final? When do we have to hand in the final project? Very good. Do you remember to send in? Enviar, mandar, usually formal documents. For example, ¿has enviado tu formulario de solicitud ya? Have you sent in your application form yet? Excellent. Asegúrate de enviarlo antes del día 15. Make sure you send it in before the 15th. Perfect. How about to pop in? Pasar, ir a ver. Pásate cuando quieras. Pop in whenever you want. Jane se pasó el lunes pasado para tomar un té. Jane popped. That's right, it's popped in last Monday for a cup of tea. Yes, Jane dropped in. Ir a visitar a alguien. Iré a verte mañana después del trabajo. I'll drop in tomorrow after work. Now for an easy one. To put in. Meter, poner. Eche la carta al buzón sin sello. I put the letter in the mailbox without a stamp. What about using to pop in? Yes, this is it's like a more casual version of to put in, meter, poner. Él metió la carta en el sobre y lo cerró. He popped the letter in the envelope and sealed it. Mete otra moneda en la rocola. Pop another coin in the jukebox. What about to stuff in? Meter con fuerza. Metí demasiadas provisiones en la bolsa y se rompió. I stuffed too many groceries in the bag and it broke. And now for to plug in. This is an easy one, right? Enchufar. ¿Dónde podemos enchufar la tele? Where can we plug the TV in? Comprueba que esté enchufado. Check that it's plugged in. Excellent. Now for the last one. Yes, one last phrase verb. Colarse. No te cueles. Hey, don't push in. Acaba de colarse ese hombre. Did that man just push in? Great work. Okay, so over the past 4 weeks, you've studied 8 more stories from our book, VAUGHAN World. So you've got to know quite a few new characters by now. Let's start with our favourite Frenchman, Pierre Monet. Is he young or middle-aged? That's right, he's middle-aged. He's 45 years old to be exact. What do you know about his family? He's married and has 3 children who live at home except Gerard. What does Pierre do for a living? He's a translator at the Foreign Ministry, but he also works as a freelance translator. And now, what do you know about Paula Eisenbach, our German character? She's from Munich, exactly. Does she live there? No, she lives in Heidelberg, where she studies computer systems and graphic arts. What do we know about her American friend Tom? What does he do? He also studies graphic arts and he works part-time for the Walt Disney Corporation. Moving on to Li Tong, who lives in Shanghai, that's it. Where does Li work? That's right, he works at a factory that makes telephones. And what's a typical day in his daughter's life? Well, her grandfather picks her up at 8:30 to go to school. He then takes her back home for lunch at 1 and she goes back at 2 for more classes until 5 o'clock. Next up is Aki Morita from Japan. Let's go straight to the information about his job. What department is Aki in charge of at Honda? Yes, well done. He's the manager of the department for quality analysis. Does he work a lot? Yes, he does. He works 14 hours a day and around 6 hours on Saturday. Now let's turn to Natasha Zarakovic, whose work schedule is less busy. First of all, how old is she? And where does she live? Yep, she's 28 years old and lives near Gorky Park in Moscow. What does she do for a living? Exactly, she works in the Russian State Laboratory. And what do you remember about Ines Garcia? Or to be exact, what do we know about her future plans? Does she want to stay in labor law for much longer? Not really. She wants to work in mergers and acquisitions. In the last 2 stories, we learn more about Philip and Nancy Johnson. First, let's talk about Philip's day yesterday. What time did he get up? Exactly, at 7. And what did he do after getting up yesterday? He took a shower, had breakfast, and prepared fried eggs and toast for the children. Good memory. Finally, let me test you on what we know about Nancy's day yesterday. Why did she have to get up earlier than usual? Well, because she had to drive 70 miles to deliver an interior design plan to a client, and she had to be back for her classes at 10 o'clock. Did she make the class? Well, yes, although she was 2 minutes late. In this last part of your second masterclass, I want to test you on some common mistakes. What's wrong with saying, it's in internet? Exactly, we need the article the and the preposition on. We say, it's on the internet, or you can buy it on the internet. Translate the sentence. Seguro que puedes encontrarlo en internet. I'm sure you can find one on the internet. Yes, well done. Now, professions. Remember that we use the article a or an. I'm a teacher. I'm an English teacher. Great. Translate. No es abogado. Es contable. He's not a lawyer. He's an accountant. Excellent. Another basic mistake is forgetting to invert the subject and the verb in questions, especially with the verb to be. So don't say, you're okay. Say, are you okay? Let's look at some more examples. Is that right? Is that all? Are those your new shoes? Great. We've also studied the pronunciation of the S sound followed by a consonant. As you know, we don't say stop or Spanish. It's stop and Spanish. Excellent. Let's translate raro. Strange. Very good. And esqueleto? Yes, that's it. Skeleton. Now, the second part of the pronunciation was the sh sound in words like she, shop, sugar, ensure, issue. As you can see, the sh sound isn't just found in words with sh. Sometimes just the s is pronounced sh. I'm sure you've practiced it a lot with the exercise in the book. Moving on to the third person singular s. I know you know when to use it. The problem is that even advanced students make mistakes with this. So remember, Diana walks to work. Justin treats me like a princess. This class ends soon. And now, how do we say, estoy pensando en ti? Exactly. I'm thinking about you, not I'm thinking in you. We never say think in. Now translate. ¿En qué piensas? Very good. What are you thinking about? Another common mistake is saying to go to the bed, to go to the school, the church, etc. When we talk about going to a place on a regular basis, we don't use the. It's I go to bed. I went to work. I don't go to church, etc. And now finally, how would you say ¿qué pasa in English? That's it. What's wrong? It's definitely not what happens, unless it's a longer question that starts with what happens when, what happens if. Here are two more examples. Pareces disgustado. ¿Qué pasa? You look upset. What's wrong? ¿Qué le pasa a Mary? What's wrong with Mary? Thank you all so much and well done.